station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Y'all supposed to protect us. Y'all kill him.
Straight ahead here on DC News Now at 6, what we now know about the person shot and killed by Park Police this morning and reaction from friends and family this afternoon. Plus, Metro is increasing services soon, what this means for your rush hour commute. And we're on the road in Birmingham, Alabama with our Alex Flum as March Madness heats up. Good evening. Thank you for joining us for DC News Now at 6. I'm Annalisa Gale. We're expecting a chill across the DMV tonight. We start with meteorologist Scott Sumner. Hey, Scott.
Hello there, Annalisa, and hello to you. And the reason why we have a chill is we have some gusty winds out there, certainly breezy conditions across the region. First, let's take a live look with our live camera out towards Reagan National Airport. And the camera every once in a while, as you can see there, is shaking just a little bit. So that tells me that, yes, it is still breezy, but at least the sun-filled afternoon. I was going to say sun-chilled. Yeah, that too. Afternoon, as you see, 53 degrees. That's not too terrible right now, but some other places a little chillier than that. Partly cloudy skies are being seen. How about the current temperatures further west? That's what I'm talking about. Kaiser and Cumberland, you're into the lower 40s there. Elsewhere, though, about 2/3 of the area is seeing temperatures comfortably into the 50s. But yet, like I said, it is breezy out there all along. You look out towards Cumberland's way. 36-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Kaiser, 28 miles an hour. Extending further to the east, Hagerstown, 27. Frederick, 22. D.C., 22. So, yes, it is breezy out there right now, and those winds will continue at least on and off through the remainder of the weekend. Our last weekend of winter, by the way. We'll talk about that and have your full 7-day forecast coming up.
All right, thanks, Scott. Well, developing now, Park Police shot and killed a teen this morning, according to friends who are grieving this afternoon. D.C. police are leading that investigation. Dave Laval joins us with response from the agency.
Y'all supposed to protect us. Y'all kill him.
A grieving woman cries out for her teenage son. She claims he was the person shot and killed during a confrontation with 2 U.S. Park Police officers who pursued a stolen car. Park Police say they responded just before 9 a.m. Saturday at 34th Street and Baker Street Northeast. The pursuit ended when the SUV crashed into a house along 36th Street Northeast near the corner of Kenilworth Avenue.
Officers on scene attempted to detain the male driver. The driver fled the scene.
Sergeant Thomas Twinname says the unidentified driver drove away from the officers.
A U.S. Park Police officer was trapped in the vehicle and was unable to get out of the car. A second United States Park Police sergeant was dragged by the vehicle as it fled the scene.
That's when the officer inside the car took action.
A firearm was discharged by the officer. Officers rendered aid immediately. A male was pronounced deceased on scene.
Police say they found another gun in the car and that their officers had been at nearby River Terrace Park, which is part of the National Park System, when they responded to the call. Although investigators have not released the name of the suspect who died, those who knew him had plenty to say.
He was loved by his siblings. He was a brother. He was a father. He was somebody's child.
Makia Green and Nene Taylor are friends of the family. They're among those demanding more information about what happened.
And just know this community is no less safer because
no more safer
because the 17-year-old is gone.
He deserved an opportunity to live, and right now the family has to go through something that no one can ever prepare for.
Investigators said people were in the house when the stolen car slammed into it. No one was injured. Body camera footage of what happened inside the car is also being reviewed. Both officers involved suffered non-life-threatening injuries. In Northeast, Dave Laval, DC News Now.
And right now, D.C. police are also investigating a shooting that left a teen injured on Friday afternoon. In the official report, officers say that they responded to the report of gunshots near a recreation center on Michigan Avenue Northeast. When they got there, they found that teen with a bullet wound to the neck. He was taken to a nearby hospital for treatment. And now to a DC News Now exclusive. We're getting a closer look at the Metro system. You may remember the orange, silver, and blue lines have all seen cuts in service to give maintenance crews extra time to get some work done. Our Joseph Olmo got to see firsthand how those crews work around the clock to make it in time.
Descending, drilling, even jackhammering. Most of it happening while you're sound asleep. You know, as a Metro rider, it may seem like every time there is some sort of delay because of maintenance work going on, but have you ever stopped to wonder what's really happening behind the scenes? For the past 3 weeks, Metro crews have been making quite some noise. 120 feet underground, they're working to fix some of the transit agency's oldest tracks. Some of the infrastructure that we are looking at right now is original Metro infrastructure, never been replaced, correct?
That is correct.
That's Melvin Smith. He's been with Metro for over 2 decades.
As you can see on this side here, the grout pad is actually cracked.
These are the grout pads he's talking about. They're concrete slabs that help support the rails themselves, and many are showing their age. Now, once they identify which pads need to be replaced, crews have to actually get to them, and they do that by literally lifting up the rails, using a jackhammer to break up the old pads, then pouring concrete, and voila, it's just like new. But make no mistake here, this is no easy job. It takes an entire evening just to do about 50 feet of track before trains are back in passenger service bright and early at 5 a.m.
While they're asleep, we are here preparing the tracks to make sure it's safe for them the next day when they come in. This is the behind scenes that no one gets to see.
A behind the scenes look. That's just another day at the office for these Metro maintenance crews. Reporting just outside the Rosalind station, I'm Joseph Olmo, DC News Now.
And starting on Monday, riders will see more silver, orange, and blue line trains. This means most customers will see trains every 12 minutes, Monday through Friday during rush hour, according to Metro's general manager, Randy Clark. And starting on March 25th, more Red Line trains will also be added. Metro has been seeing records being set since the height of the pandemic almost daily. This week, Metro saw its highest ridership since the pandemic with more than 337,000 paid trips. They say this is a result of cherry blossom season, tourists, sporting events, and a growing number of commuters. Well, right now, the second round is underway in the men's basketball NCAA tournament, and Maryland will take the court later tonight. We are the only local station in Birmingham, Alabama, covering the Terps. That's where we find our Alex Flum now ahead of tonight's game. Hey, Alex, you're there with some fans.
Yeah, hey, Annalisa, the Terps are still dancing, and they're hoping to keep dancing past tonight, but it will be a pretty big challenge against the Alabama Crimson Tide here at Legacy Arena in Birmingham. Maryland will take on the #1 overall seed playing in their home state, the Alabama Crimson Tide, and what's on the line is pretty simple. Lose, you're going home. Season is over. Win, you move on to the Sweet 16 as one of the last 16 teams still standing in the country, something Maryland has not done since 2016. And we know Maryland has struggled some on the road this season, but we also know that there will be some Terps fans in the arena cheering them on. I'm joined by Dan and Roy here from Montgomery County. They made the trip all the way down from Maryland. Dan, tell me a little bit about what went into this trip. It seems like an interesting story for you guys from what I hear.
It's a great time. Thanks, Alex. We do this every year. This is our 30th year doing it, 29th consecutive. We had a little gap back in the 90s. But every year we pick a bracket to go to. This year we picked Birmingham, 8-1 shot that the Terps are going to come here, and we hit. So we got no complaints.
And it worked out pretty well. You guys get to see the Terps in person in a huge game. How are you feeling about the chances? I know it's an uphill battle against the overall top seed, but they got a chance here tonight, don't you think?
Well, just talk to Farley Dickinson fans and ask how they felt. We're an 8 seed. 8 versus a 1. We got a shot.
And what do you guys think the key will be tonight?
I think the key is we've got to play our game right out of the gate, right? Can't start slow. We are known for our slow starts early on the road. With Alabama's fast, and you saw that the other night. So we got to kind of come out of the gate, play them in that first 4 before the first TV timeout, and then sort of know that we can play with them. And I think we got a shot for the rest of the night.
know it's a bit of a long trip down. Have you guys seen any other Maryland fans down here?
We've seen a good number of Maryland fans down here, actually. It's been kind of nice. You know, it's not as big a contingent as maybe some of the schools, but we're representing well.
It's been a bit of a rough go the last few years, but it seems like Willard's kind of trying to bring things back to the Gary Williams era. Do you agree with that? What have you seen that you liked from him this year?
Well, what I like is his intensity. I like the defense press, the press, right out of the gate after the free throws has been really great. Like the movement on the offense, but most of all, I like his attitude. Right, he's got to win attitudes. It's not like let's wait till next year. It's like, come on, guys, let's take it to him. And that never say quit. If it starts at the top, that permeates to the players and it picks up. And the fan base has really picked it up as well. And we're here to support that.
You guys will be cheering them on. We'll hear some "Let's Go Maryland" chants, I'm sure, in there today. Dan and Roy from Montgomery County here with 6 other of their friends. Definitely will enjoy the game here in Legacy Arena. The Terps will tip off against Alabama at approximately 9:40 p.m. Eastern tonight, and we will, of course, have the coverage through the night and tomorrow here for you on DC News Now. For now, reporting just outside Legacy Arena in Birmingham, Alabama, Alex Flum, DC News Now.
All right, Alex, we'll be watching. Thank you. All right, Scott, I got to go out and run today because it was nice.
Yeah, not too bad. The wind made a little bit of dent into your day, I guess. But other than that, it has been a fairly decent day. Take a look here at our live camera. I'll step out of the way for a moment. Roslyn, Virginia, beautiful looking shot here of the skyline. And as far as today's high at 54 in D.C., the average should be 57. Record set back in 1989 was 81 degrees. And yeah, record low 13. We don't want to even talk about that. Think about those numbers, right? 53 degrees outside right now. And we have winds the west-northwest at 10 miles an hour. And I showed you at the top of the hour, they were windier than that, getting up to around 30 miles an hour out towards Allegheny and Cumberland area. But right now, most of the area is dry. We have some clouds passing through overall. But there are, again, still, this is like an island. Garrett County is so different from every other county that we forecast for. A higher elevation there, seeing some snow showers and a little wet pavement out that way. All right, what about the MetroCast forecast here locally in D.C.? So we look at the Washington Monument, 49 degrees at 7 p.m., 47 at 9:42 at 11 p.m. tonight. And the headlines, well, yeah, some frigid wind chills out there this evening because the temperatures are going to continue to drop, especially after the sun sets. Cold and breezy on Sunday, warming up this week, though, so the cold this winter weekend is not going to last. First day of spring is on Monday at 5:24 where it kicks in, and it'll feel like it this week. Some showers also late week. We'll talk about it and show it to you with the 7-day forecast. Annalisa.
All right, thanks, Scott. And right now we're still keeping our eye on March Madness fever. On Friday, Maryland women's basketball won their first round of the NCAA tournament matchup over Holy Cross. And this afternoon, the Terps held open practice at the Xfinity Center. That's where we find our Jake Rom right now as the team held their last practice before taking on Arizona. Hey, Jake.
And Elisa, the Terps, they are ready to go for this matchup against the Wildcats on Sunday. Arizona obviously posing a bigger threat than Holy Cross did on Friday. So they're extremely motivated coming into this one. To add to the motivation, though, Arizona is the alma mater of Terps head coach Brenda Frese. And Brenda Frese spoke yesterday after their win over Holy Cross about facing the Wildcats here at College Park for the first time since coaching here for Maryland. But this afternoon, I spoke to the players about how it's become an extra motivator for them to win.
It's kind of the ultimate motivator, your coach's alma mater, right? So for us, it's personal more than anything because we got to beat them. We have no choice but to beat them.
I think it's definitely a motivator, but not only the reason. I mean, obviously we want us to continue, but I mean, I feel like it'd be good also to, win against your alma mater, even though it's probably a little bitter taste.
I think it's cool how everything went full circle for her, and now we're about to compete against them. So yeah, it should be fun, and it would be cool to beat them as well.
So not like the Terps needed any more motivation to go out there and win this game. Obviously, they're at home here at the Xfinity Center. There's going to be a crowd. It's a 5:30 tip-off game against the 7-seed Arizona right here in College Park. So expect fireworks because the Terps are looking to go to the Sweet 16 if they can advance out of the second round of the NCAA tournament. Plenty more coverage coming later on in the show at 6 and, of course, tonight on game night. But for now, we'll send it back to you, Annalisa. Live here from the Xfinity Center at College Park, Jake Rom, DC News Now.
All right, Jake, we'll be watching that as well. Thank you. Well, developing now, police in New York City are preparing for the possible indictment of former President Donald Trump. They're stepping up security as speculation grows that Trump will be called to appear before a grand jury. All of it coming as the former president is being investigated for allegedly paying hush money to women he had sexual encounters with. It's still unclear whether or not Trump will actually be indicted. In an update on the social media site Truth Social, the former president is calling out the possible arrest as another attempt to have the election stolen from him and is calling on supporters to protest on his behalf.